No, this is not as good as the 250. I'm sorry, I've got to change lens here. This thing is too far away. Oh, come on. These threads. Do not want to cross thread your objective lens. A really bad thing. Okay, we're ready to go here. Okay, as you can see, we have a slit dam set up here. This is really ideal for working when you have a distal tooth behind it. For gentle wave, it's extremely helpful because you have more tooth structure in the adjacent teeth to help support the platform that you have to build. We are going to take out the composite now. Oh, by the way, this is a rubber dam hinged frame that when we need a radiograph, we just turn it like that and slip the sensor in there. You guys got to get this frame. It's just killer. Okay, thank you. Hey, you know what? I want to try something new. I've got this awesome sandblast device here. I think it takes composites out kind of nice, but let's check it out. Can I have the other mirror?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to turn the pressure up, see if we can get it to cut a little bit more, but it's really going around the edge nicely. Let's see if this makes a difference. These guys, Crystal Mark, were the guys, they're from the original people that developed air abrasion back in the 50s. Air abrasion was supposed to be our new high speed before the Borden air turbine came out. And they had actually all the SS White reps in the country trained to train dentists how to use this, and then Borden beat him to the finish line. However, air abrasion is amazing. It is so great for post-endodontic restorative. Yeah, it's not going to help as much here. But when I get the filling material out, I think we'll see something more interesting. I'm using kind of an antique Zeiss probe Magnus. It was the predecessor before the Pro Ergo. And the new one, the X Taro, which I hope to have soon, has a filter that lights up composite and decay really dramatically. Pardon?
You're really not looking at the truth.
Yeah, I don't want to look at anybody's mouth. That's terrible. It's like I don't like it anymore. I don't want to do that. It's awesome. It's just like, yeah, it's really. I guarantee at least half of you in here will use the heads-up system before you retire. Maybe all of you. It took me longer to learn how to use a microscope than to learn how to use heads-up. It was almost instant for me. For other people, it'll take a little bit longer, but it's super unstressful. You just have to learn how to angle the microscope, but it's easier because you have greater, like I can put this down here and look at her upper anterior teeth and do an access with no rubber dam in place. Okay? Check that out. I can do lower incisor apical surgery, and usually I'm humped over and trying to get my eyes in the eyepieces. I just sit kind of back like this and I can see everything perfectly. So, yeah. Okay, let's see what happens with the air abrasion again. I'm not going to use a mirror if I need it. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure it's helping me out here. Can we put some disclosing agent in there so I can see the composites light up? Thanks. Not yet. I know we still have some composite in mesial. Do you have Carrie's indicator? Thanks. Hey, this stuff is like kudzu. Goes everywhere. Okay, let's see, can I lever this little guy here up? Okay, I almost have the restorations removed. So there's actually a perforation of that pulp horn before. Look at this, I can take the side view. And my patient doesn't even have to move their head. Me neither. Wash, please. There's the dye again. One sec. Can you give me more wash than usual? I think we have more junk there still left, but okay, cool. Attempting a pulp cap on a molar is a great thing to do for your patient. If they don't have spontaneous pain or prolonged pain to thermal stimulus, the pulp is probably, it's not past the threshold of it's going to croak. Okay, so if you have a lack of those symptoms, get some bioceramic on it and you'll be shocked, especially in younger people. As kids, we can do pulp caps. We can even take the whole pulp chamber out, and then you see them 15 years later, and the pulp chamber is still filled with MCA, but it's never had a single problem in or at the end of the root canal system. Okay, mesial's looking pretty good. Let me just trim it up a little bit. Where's the tip? Second drawer?
The one to the right.
This guy?
No, they're gonna be little cap.
Are we missing it? Okay. Okay, this is Denmat's little portable cordless laser. It's a diode laser. It's not going to do serious damage no matter what you do with it, but it's awesome for coagulation. And diode lasers basically are just desiccating. They're just turning all the moisture into steam. If you hold the tip of this exactly a millimeter over the tissue and just slightly move around, you'll just see it shrinking away from you in the interproximal area. If you can do that and keep the surface actually, that's amazing. You won't have a single bleeding point. Has a replaceable end tip here. We're going to initiate it, as they say. Oops. Huh. That doesn't look. Is that our last one?
No, I have another one.
I need another one. I think that thing died. I'll be a little more gentle this time. So you need to put a black magic marker on the tip and turn it dark because that's what heats up. I'll give you the microscope view here.
What wattage?
It'll put out 2 watts. Now I've got Denmat's other one, which is corded. It's got a glass fiber, and that puts out 3 watts. So yeah, that one cuts a lot quicker. But it's got a cord. I hate cords.
I have another battery.
Okay. It's on. Yeah, it was. Okay, so now we're going to dial it up.
Do you need another tip?
I think this should be okay. Let's see if we can't make it work. Here we go. It's hard to see, sorry. That's 0.6. It's going up to 1 watt, 2 watts. There we go. The neat thing about this is there's no switch on here. It's a wireless foot control, Bluetooth foot control.
Are you using the wrong pedal or the right pedal?
No, I'm using that pedal. Let me see if I need to initiate it again. There should be a little,
Or another clip,
yeah.
because the light is coming up.
Oh, it is. Yeah, okay.
But the EDT is on.
Got it. So when you put this on, if you get one of these, make sure you push it by this thing because it'll disattach. There's a little seam there. See it shrinking away there? Thank you. A little far away. And you can touch it and remove stuff quicker, but it kind of sticks to the tip. I don't like that. To the left. Really great. Right there, perfect. Okay, watch please. Okay. We may have that restart up again, but for now that should be good. Let's use the carries indicator one more time. Too much now. Just not enough. Okay, it's cool. We did have those pulp horns nicked, so we know how to get into the mesial canals ninja-like. Here's one opening. I think the high-speed head is about shot. Is this a troubled
I have another
child?
one ready for you. For the bucket. There's another one.
All right, let's see if we can get into those canals. I'm going to use a little ultrasonics here. I've got it set at 75. Once I get to the CEJ, I prefer ultrasonics just because I have more control. Let's see if there's a canal under there. Straight explore first. Yeah.
You're on the center.
Let's see what happens with a bent explorer. Look at that. I'm in there 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters, and I couldn't get a catch with the other. Okay, good news. I'm in the pulp chamber, right over the Mesial-Buccal canal. There's the Mesial Lingual. You saw some tissue curl up from there. Back under there. Okay. I'm going to put this on 10,000 RPM instead of 40. My electric hand piece. This is a really nice burr at a slower RPM. Is there something wrong with this? This head's shot too. Are we out?
No, I'll have another one.
You have one more. You've been holding out on me. Where's the one that works? Okay, what's the first thing I do before I put this LA diamond burr in a tooth? Check the tip. There we go. Oh no, that's so cool. It like rotates normally. There we go. I'm going to attempt to do a truss, leave the den in the middle here. I am not quite in the distal half of this. Let's see if I can get there. Wash, please. Try straight explorer, see if I'm down far enough to engage the canals. Yeah, kind of barely. Not much. Maybe I'm a little past it. There we go. No? Here is. All right, let's put the bent one in. All right. These canals are always curving as they come into molars. It's just a fact. So if you're looking at them further straight down after you hit the pulp chamber floor, you're going to meet something you don't want to meet. Okay, let's see if the orifice widener will drop us into any of these mesial canals. There we go, Mesial-Buccal. This is the Traverse orifice widener. It's a 2508 that's only 17 millimeters long. I actually use it like a burr. This is at 4,000 RPM. I like to get stuff done. That helps. Okay, so I'm going to look. I haven't gotten passive entry into the Mesial Lingual yet. But as soon as I have one canal in a pulp chamber, now I already have a lot more data about the canal I'm looking for. There we go. Yep, big fat canal. We're right in the middle of it. I can see where it is right here. I might have gone a little past. There we go. Okay, let's use a little ultrasonics. And on a lower molar, I'm almost always going to slot it and then also cut, like I showed you in that bicuspid. I want to cut down on that isthmus a little bit because that's a lot to clean out. And notice the difference in color. Can I have some EDTA? Okay. This is something I'm going to tell you about. I'm embarrassed to admit, but I have to. I had no idea that this would help me in molar endo. But it's so clearly different. I didn't realize that when I did the air-water syringe that the smeared layer was thick enough to obscure my view. Seemed like it's microscopic, right? But look at the difference between, watch this thing bloom. Section. Okay, gets a lot easier, right? Okay, where do you look for the canal? Where the light meets the dark. It's a heavy situation. Here we go. Can I have a short 15K file in a cotton plier? Okay, short 15K file. Right up against the handle so it doesn't wobble. Right there. You'd think I could find that with an orifice widener. There's still mysteries in endodontics even after cone beam CT. Okay, let's put the orifice widener back in there. This is not in the DFU, directions for use from the manufacturer. And you know the rules about this, right? They have to follow a certain regulatory and have validation for everything they consider telling us to do with it, but we can do whatever we want. We're the doctors. We can do it. I love going off-label. Just don't talk to anybody at the company about it. It flips them out. Okay, I've got a nice path there. Let's see if we can find the distal canal. I'd like to negotiate them all together. Okay, so where do I want to end this? Sometimes I think like I should have, could have, would have used guidance, but not for this. I'm only about a ½ millimeter away. The only reason it's a challenge is I'm trying to find a little tiny pathway to it. I mean, one of the advantages of using NPI, negative pressure irrigation, is you can do everything through a Ninja Access. Turn this way, Darla. Thank you. Let's try the EDTA and see if we see more. Almost like looks like it has a little bit of composite in there. Air, please. See that? That's no bueno. Okay, so I can find the distal between, if I draw a line between these two, here's the center of that, and I draw a line straight back directly over the crack. This is where I should find it, right here. I'm breaking my rule because I don't have a visual clue yet, but it's such a short distance in there, I can push through. There's the pulp chamber in the distal. Great.
You're a little off frame.
You'll notice I have two mirrors. I have a large normal size mirror, which is really nice to get the whole tooth picture. And then if for tight spots, certain angles, a little tiny one was really a big help. It's nice having them on the same handle. There we are. Okay, as soon as those flutes fill up, what does that mean about further work? It's getting worse. If I fill the flutes up and I shove it down there, things get worse. And I'm the guy that used to be really excited that we could cut with one fell swoop, in a single canal. I would never do that now because it's just taking too much risk. And you're going to block out all that fun anatomy. And then you don't get the thrill of the fill. We have some connection in between the canals, which is cool. Okay, let's put some lubricant in there, and we're going to use a Merida handpiece with the apex locator hooked up. So one of the mesial canals are necrotic, and the distal canal is vital. This is why electric pulp tests are useless. They would tell you this is vital if you didn't have the radiograph, and it could be, after it's restored and it devitalizes. But once you have calcification of the pulp chamber, instead of having a single pulp as a syncytial tissue reaching into each of the canals, they can have each a separate histologic condition. Okay? So that's why we use thermal testing. We can test on all four corners of the tooth, and I can tell you exactly which canal has pulp tissue in it and which doesn't. Okay? We can talk about that more tomorrow. It's got an apex locator inside of it. It doesn't even require a little lead alongside the file. It's through the attachment. And so, actually, I'll show you why I love this thing. Did you turn it on?
Oh, I did.
Okay. Okay, I'm not turning this on. It's turning itself on. And then when I pull it out to clean it, it stops. Come on, that's a pretty good trick. You gotta give it up. Yeah, I love that. So that's decreasing my cycle time. Here's the MB. Lots of debris cutting. We take a look at the file afterwards, give that another wipe. See, I was in there too long and I packed the debris into some of those flutes. Can you put some more lube there? Thanks. Any questions? Okay.
Would you ever try to do a truss where, say, the mesial is necrotic because it has a variable radiolucency, and try to not touch the distal?
I don't have a problem with that. That's just like a pulp cap.
Yeah.
The trick is, can you get to the tissue? You'd have to get to the tissue to make sure you haven't left anything. If you leave one speck of decay, it's just going to croak.
Yeah.
As soon as you close it up, it'll croak. So 1306. Notice how wide this root is. You can see there's a direction here like this, and the mesial lingual, it's quite a ways apart. More lube, please. Yeah, this and a rotary negotiating file, just the right thing at the right time. Really good partnership. I'm at length. You know how hard it is to get a rotary file to the right length with an apex locator? You're sitting there popping the foot pedal in, out, I'm long, I'm short, I'm long, I'm short. Okay, I'm almost there, I'm there, and it stops. This thing just goes, and it's probably within, 1/10 of a millimeter. Let's have the, okay. This is the conventional lead set that I use if it's not through a handpiece. This isn't theirs. You can buy it from them. You can buy one from Kerr also. But you don't want to use the little clippy thing. If you're using it without a handpiece, the clippy things are useless. They take up 3.5 millimeters of your file length. Here's another advantage of heads up is I don't want a parallax error. I want this sucker to be really accurate, and there we go. It is. Then I have to give it a little crowbar thing to get it out, but I've got that length perfectly. I've got a shape 1306. Let's measure it. Do I have the...
Yes.
Okay, our lengthened Mesial-Buccal canal, I'm sorry, Mesial-Lingual canal by the Mesial-Lingual cusp tip is 19 millimeters. Let's see if we can get to the end of the Mesial-Buccal canal. Let's just wash and put some new in. I am not, unless I meet resistance. Look at that, there's a pulp hanging out of the distal.
I have more lube. Dr. D?
Yeah, thanks. Please. There we are. I'm kind of almost there. Okay, I'm going to reference this by the Mesial-Lingual cusp tip as well. What's going on here? Okay. Really? Okay. Let's try that again.
Says Andy.
Actually, I think I want to reference it, and good thing I saw the CT, so I know that why this one is longer than the other one. It's just a longer root. But I'm going to reference, if I can, to that little mesial high point there. Okay. 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. Let's give them both references. Sometimes you can pick one reference and it doesn't work out during obturation. That is at, these little marks are 18, 19, 20, 22, 24. That's at 19 1/2. For the MB high point,
That's the MB canal.
yeah. Keep washing here, it's a little goopy. Come on. Right by my stop, please. Good. Okay. There's somebody in Switzerland that figured out how to make a stop, not move, not move, not move, and then go off the end of the instrument. It's like ice cubes, I think. Okay, so here we go. So that other length was 19 and a half. This is 16 from the short point. I think I'm going to use the 19 and a half because it's closer to the length of the adjacent canal. Let's go into the distal. Could I have an 1806, please? So I don't know what the terminal diameter of the canal is. We're going to gauge those as soon as I get my negotiation done. That's the 1806. As soon as I get negotiated here with this 1806, then we're going to wash it. I'm going to put EDTA solution in. We're going to go back in and gauge and find out what we need to finish the preps. But we're close to being finished. Here we go. Distal canal. Okay. That was, I don't feel like I got my money's worth that time. It was too easy. Okay. And I'm going to side it here. By the Mesial Lingual high point, we have 21 and a half
DV.
distal.
21 and a half. Can I walk it?
Yeah, please. Are we leaving that in? Okay. All right, let's put some EDTA in there. We're almost done with instrumentation. Okay, let's gauge. Let's do Mesial Lingual first. It's got the easiest reference point. I'm going to need a 20 at 18. 19. Okay. Oh, okay, I better go back to a 15. I jumped a step. Here's a 15. 15 is tight. So if I'm gentle waving it, that's done. Okay, all I'm looking for is a constricture, and that's finished. Let's, but I'm going to do negative pressure irrigation. I would like to have a little bit bigger shape there. So I'm going to show you how to do the balanced force technique. This is one of the most effective techniques you'll ever use in endo, and it's extremely effective for cutting dentin rapidly with K-files. My good friend Denny Southard from Tulsa, Oklahoma, learned how to do this as an undergrad because he went to Jim Rohn's school in Oklahoma City. And at least the first 10 years of rotary files were not faster than him with balanced force technique and hand files. Okay, so I'm down at the length with a 20. Let's see what it feels like. My objective isn't to, it's not to enlarge the root canal. I like the end to stay nice and tight like it is. I want to create a little bit of shape behind there. So here's a 30 K file. You can tell in your increments of step back what the shape is indirectly. What does that tell you? I had a 20 at length, and the 30 is way back here. It's like 4 millimeters short. I'm sorry? Yeah, it's very little taper in there, okay? If it was an 06 taper, the 30 would have stepped back at exactly the width of the stop. If it was an 08 taper, it would be 1 millimeter step back in full sizes, 20, 30, 40, okay? I'm telling you all this stuff because I'm trying to help you do the mental imaging thing, all right? I didn't catch that. Who was that?
I just accidentally
Okay, here we go. So, this is a good case to teach this technique. Okay, you're going to thread it slightly into the canal, just like a quarter turn. Let go, reset your fingers, put pressure on it, hold it, hold it, hold it, click, click. You have to rotate it full 360. When you thread it in, you're making a little screw thread tap in there. When you push on it and you counter rotate, the tip's stuck in those little grooves that's going like, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter until there's enough spring force built up to push the tip flutes through between those grooves, and you feel a little click, click, and now it's smooth. It only takes 2 clicks before it cuts that dent. Let's take it out and see what happened to the end of the file. It'll show us where the debris is, right there, okay? It's that last 4 millimeters that has no taper. Okay, so thread it in, hold pressure, click, click. After you learn how to do it, the return, the engagement stroke is actually almost the second part of this cutting stroke, which is counterclockwise. It still hasn't clicked yet. Click. You got to keep your gloves off the rubber dam. Click, click. Okay, flutes are full of debris. It didn't want to cut any further because the flutes were full of debris. Let's see if it cuts to length now. It just dropped a 1/4 millimeter in there. If I hadn't had the experience with my dad's Decker drill, there we go. See that? The whole April 4 or 5 millimeters is coated. Let's irrigate with some EDTA, get patent. You know, I was out there pounding and nailing everything that I could get to stick in. And I also love drilling holes in big pieces of wood. So it would always amaze me. I'd have like a 1/4 inch bit and a 4x4, and I go, and it's just like, and then it just stopped. And it's like, push on it, nothing happened. Finally, I pull it up, all the stuff spun out of the blades, and the second I put it back there, it dropped at the end of the board. It didn't even feel tight in there. It's just not allowing the blades to be presented to the cutting surface, or the surface to be cut. Here's the 15. Let's see if I'm still patent. I am. Let's see what it's like with a 20. Okay, that's now my April file. Let's see what this guy does. I don't need this to go to length. I like it to be within a millimeter. Let's see if I can cut a little bit more there. The tip of my, okay, that's plenty. I'm going to give it a little, I'm going to put a 30-06 in there now. I'll just use. And this is just to make the rest of the shape catch up with that April size that I've cut in there. And I might finish this with an 04 because I'm using negative pressure irrigation. Can I have an 04? Not like a 30-04? There's shaping files coming along from Kerr that work with the Traverse instruments. What's your length here, 19?
19.
I move the stop. Great. That's it. Let's put the 30-06 in there now. Is this it? I'm going to turn my RPM up to 500. Once had a kid come up to me and say, your GT file, rotary files, are the fastest cutting file I've ever used. And I said, no, they aren't. I go, what RPM are you running? It's like, well, you said 1200. It's like, yeah, I bet those are super fast. All right. Okay, here's 500. Yeah, I think we're going to stay with that other shape. Okay, so let's gauge, get patent here. We're going to gauge the Mesial-Buccal.
So you're not worried about patency until after you've already reached the apex, as long as there's no impediment then?
There's no impediment. That file will not push debris ahead of it. It hasn't. I've been doing it for 5 years. It hasn't done it yet. That's a jinx, of course, right? Okay, 15K file. Let's see what happens to the Mesial-Buccal. I'm expecting it to be a different apex. I don't expect it to be confluent with the other canal. This is at the longer. This is at what, 19 and a half?
Yes.
Was that the Mesial-Buccal length by the?
That's the Mesial Lingual. I mean, that's the Mesial-Buccal 19.5 by the Mesial.
By the MLCT? Okay, that's patent. That binds, slips slightly through. I'm sorry, are you okay? Here's a 30. Great, I just need to cut a little bit of shape there. This one's a bigger canal. Here's my 20K file patent, and my 30 should still bind short. I'm going to take the same 3006 in there. There we go. Just size it up. You're going to see with this maximum fluid diameter limitation, it's a very conservative prep. Okay, there we go. Let's check the distal. I have one more instrument to use in the Mesial-Buccal, and what would that be? My patency instrument. I'm not going to touch that canal again with an instrument. I'm not going to make any more smeared layer. So here's a 20. You haven't changed lengths, have you?
No.
Okay. Here's the 20. It slips through. The 30 should bind very close to length. Add a very close. Yes, we're about ½ millimeter. Here's a 40. Stepping back. Quite a ways from there. That's okay. Okay. Distal, reset length. Our length for the distal is what?
21 and a half.
21.5 millimeters by the
Mesial Lingual.
Mesial lingual high point. There we go. Now, if I didn't have a CBCT scan of this beforehand, I couldn't make this little tiny hole and just fish through there because I don't know what's under there. If I have to do exploratory width through the access, then it's a different thing. It's hard to do micro. Okay, that's going to be bigger. Good. Here's a 30. Okay, it's probably about 0.25 because the 20 goes through easily. Let's put a 30 on this. That's all I need. I'm done. I'm just going to put this 3006 to see if make sure there's no high spots. We're at 21 and a half, you said?
Yes.
Okay. The instrumentation portion of this entertainment feature has been completed. I want to recognize John Cotomy, David Clark, and all the boys, my buddies in the Itty Bitty Access Committee. I never thought of using a truss. It's a great idea. Saving that tooth structure. We're going to see the irrigants go underneath the pulp chamber roof. Okay, let's get set up and do some irrigation. You know what? Let's fit cones. Let's fit cones. Can I have... Okay, distal canal. This is a 20 tip. We'll see how it fits. Nice. Good tug back. Okay. EDTA is critical to your tug back. Without EDTA, you have a smeared layer there. Smeared layer acts like a lubricant. You'll never get decent tug back. Let's see what the length here is. I haven't been able to look at the tip. If it's wrinkled, I know I got to do something different, but I don't think it is. Here we go. Okay, awesome, fitting long. So I'm ready to finish this cone fit. This is a different approach to cone fitting. Before, we tried to use pre-sized tips. How'd that work out for you? Not at all. So the question is like, I put a 30-06 to length. Do I put a 30, got to perch a cone, a 35, a 40? What do you do? It's like, I don't care what the terminal diameter is. I'm just making a taper, and this thing will bind up at a certain length, and I just cut it to length a ½ millimeter short. And who knows what the length, the terminal diameter is. I only care about where it fits linearly in the root canal. So we had a 50-50 chance, and we identified the wrong variable to really track. It didn't matter. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you could be a historian without a good sense of humor. Humans are funny. 21 and a half?
Yes.
Okay, distals fit. Let's fit the mesial. I'll take a 20. Uh-huh. Let me see how it fits. Oh, nice. And this is really huge. I can't grab it like this or like this. It won't be accurate. I've got to be at 90 degrees, and I pick a high point because you can't reference a low point very well at all. And I come down and I just touch the reference point. I've eliminated any chance of parallax errors. I don't want to goof it like right now at the end where I can get a perfect result. Okay, so here's the Mesial Lingual. Where's my microscope light? Okay, Mesial Lingual was 19?
Yes.
Okay, I'm right at length. Awesome. Skizzers. ML, Mesial-Buccal.
19 and a half.
Nice, I got tug back there. And our length in this canal is 19 and a half?
Yes.
Okay. Let's try that one in again, make sure I got that correct. Another thing that's really important, and I didn't do it here, is I've got to pinch the cone to make an obvious mark in it, because how do I know if it went to length? You don't know what that, if you don't have that reference, you could buckle the cone and not know it and condense it, and now you have to retreat the root canal. So let's not work that hard. And I have hypochlorite in here, so I'm transferring solutions as I'm putting the cone in and out of the canal. Okay, so let's put them all back in and take an x-ray. Would you ask our patient how she's doing?
¿Cómo está? ¿Está bien? Sí, sir.
Okay,
¿No siente dolor?
good, good, good. Okay, this is the distal. Distal is 21 and a half. Generally, I load these canals from distal to mesial. It's easier to find the orifices that way. Mesial lingual next. Okay, this is where your access pays a final dividend because you don't have to worry about buckling the cone because you have that line angle totally sussed out. Don't No kidding. We have confluent pathways, I think. What length is this? Length of the Mesial-Buccal is, I probably just moved the cone. I didn't mark this cone. Oh, it's perfect, 19.5. Good. Okay, radiograph. This is really awesome.
Una radiografía ahora.
You won't be able to see it very well. Let's see if I can get in here a little bit. No, it's too far away.
Mueve su lengua a la izquierda. Relaja. No la
Yeah,
cierra.
close, close, close.
Cierra un poquito. Cierra un poquito.
Still. Okay. Okay, I'm a little shaky today.
¿Qué hago?
Can't blame the
Igual,
patient.
cierra un
Lift your
poquito.
tongue.
Levante su lengua al paladar.
Relax it.
Relaja.
Great.
No se mueva.
Okay.
Manténgase así.
Can you pull that back? I can't see. Okay.
No se mueva.
There you have it. Hey, look at that mesial canal. It does have that little curve in it. We are a little long in, this is a distal view, so that's the Mesial-Buccal. That looks like it's exactly at the root edge, so I'm going to cut that a half back. This guy is a taste like a quarter long. I need to cut that back. The distal needs to be cut back as well. The distal might have an apical bifurcation. Okay, so here's all the cutbacks. See, I need that mark to get the pliers correctly positioned. Distal canal's 9. Oh, that must have been the correct position earlier. Here we go. 19. No, what was this? 21?
21.5.
Okay, I did have it right one. There we go. I'm at a little bit more than 20.5. I'm going to just shorten this about a quarter to a half a millimeter. There's a half. Okay, that's distal canal ready for cementation after cleaning. Here comes the Mesial-Buccal. 19.5. Mesial-Buccal was, we thought, dead on. I'm going to take a half off of that. So one of the reasons that you want to be as efficient as possible during certain parts of the procedure is you have more time to fuss around with, you know, getting that last little bit of nuance of accuracy. Do you have another?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And the mesial lingual canal.
That's 19.
Mesial lingual canal is at length. It needs to be cut a half as well. Okay, let's get set up to do irrigation. Whoa. No. Okay. Well, we'll have to refit that in a second. It popped out of there. All right. So through these kinds of accesses, we have the 30-second rule, right? You want to go take a look? Is it?
Yes,
You're hoping?
yeah.
No. No. Yeah. It's over the side somewhere. I think it's launched that way. Anyway, cones can be refit. When we look at these accesses, they're so small, you can't do gentle wave very well through that. So let's use negative pressure irrigation. Here's the way it works. You use the needle as a suction tip instead. But before I do that, I've got to use an ultrasonic tip and bang out all the particulate matter, because if I don't, I'm going to block the needles. That's one of the challenges of negative pressure irrigation. You're safe? These are Irrisafe Biaction. They are it's a 25 file out of stainless steel, but the flutes don't have any cutting ability. It's got a blunt tip. They mostly want to make sure you don't do any damage in there. However, we run it at I used to run it at 2 or 3, and I just read an article that said they recommend it be run at 9. And
Stopper?
Hmm?
Do you need a stopper for that?
Yeah, I do. Please, thank you. Okay, the distal canal is 21 and a half.
Yes.
Irrigate.
EDT.
Mm-hmm. Using an ETA solution. Not cleaning yet, we're getting rid of this debris. Look at that, there's still pulp tissue in there. Oh. It was amazing, you should have seen it. All right, here we go. Yeah, there's a little bit of heme. So I'm going to do this for something like a minute per canal, 2 or 3 rounds of activation. Again, this is to get the particulate matter out of that root canal so it doesn't plug up our little guys. All right, that's the distal. We're at 19 for the Mesial Lingual. This is EDTA. You can use hypochlorite though. It'll activate hypochlorite really well. Let's irrigate. I'm not going to go down in there against that little apical curve. I was really proud of my traverse files for going around that little guy. That was a wicked, almost a hook to it. Okay, I think we've got things cleared out pretty well. Let's change to hypochlorite with negative pressure irrigation. Okay, I'm going to put a bigger lens on here so you guys can see a broader view. So bear with me a second. I want to show you how this thing gets set up.
Is this the one you need?
Yeah, I want the 400. Okay. All right. here we are. We're going to go over to the suction device. Let's bend this guy back under here. Okay, this is suction driven. So we take the little blue guy. That's over here. Let me give you that for this sec, just right now. This little tip goes into the suction. It'll fit in either saliva or regular. This is a little thing you can hang the needle on. I'm going to plug in the two suction device holes. There's blue and there's white. And here is the syringe. Here's the syringe. Take the tip off. Okay. And this is the device that has a little suction in it. This is where you put more hypochlorite in. And if you put too much in, this is here as suction to save you. It goes up there instead of out. Okay, let me show them the other part. This is the micro cannula. And it's only 0.3 millimeters at its tip. Let's take a look at the end of it. I think this is the older style. Did we get a new set of them? Okay. Come on, here we go. Where? Oh, it's 400 millimeter lens now. Okay, see those 12 little holes? Actually, you see 3 and 3. Those are little micro holes that are drilled by a laser. There's 2 more sets of them on the other side of the instrument. That's where the suction, the device suctions up solutions. So she's turned the suction on, right? All right. Hold this. Yep. How are we doing there? Okay. Now watch this one. Mirror. So we'll see if this, how confluent these are. Does it suction out the stuff in the Mesial-Buccal? It doesn't. Interesting. Okay, so now that we've got this going, I'm going to start adding solution so it can be transported through the end. Let's just put it in the distal for now. I'm going to load it as soon as it sucks down into the canal. There's a cool video, if you remind me, I'll show you tomorrow. And basically, it's my buddy Filippo Santarcangelo. Turn to the left a little bit. Right there. Perfect. Thank you. Who's an awesome endodontist in Bari, Italy. And he took a beaker with 14 ounces of shrimp with shells on it, put 2 glass pipettes in there, and basically filled it up, sucked it down, filled it up, sucked it down, filled it up, sucked it down. In 40 minutes, 14 ounces was dissolved in 0. It was gone. So that's how effective it is. Hypochlorite's immediately deactivated, but when you have a constant flow, it becomes like exponentially more effective. And that's the beauty of negative pressure irrigation. it is 100% safe. You can't have a hypochlorite accident if your needle's a suction device, right? Might be plugged up there. I think it is. Yeah.
¿Está bien?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if that helped. Okay, we have suction. Let's sit her up more upright.
Do you want to lower the chair? You okay?
It won't go any lower. It's a safety feature. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so there's no vapor lock down there. And when you notice that there aren't any bubbles coming up, that's one hint that the suction or the hypochlorite has removed a lot of the particulate matter, the collagen debris that we leave when we cut dentin. Let's do the mesial lingual canal. Now you can see this secondary vacuum is helping me out because the distal would collect too much. So they estimate that this decreases the time necessary by about 4x. So if it used to take 40 minutes, this is probably more like 10 minutes per canal. And you got to make a decision. Do you want to hang on to this thing for 10 minutes 3 times? That's 30 minutes. Or do you want to have them soak in the operatory, and then your assistant floats in every 5 or 10 minutes and does a little bit of exchange of the solution to the very end. Hold this. It's sad that the most important part of the endodontic procedure is the most boring. Just not right. Let's see if I can get it to suction out through the mesial, through the pulp chamber. Because that's one of the challenges of this case is I'm not directly removing debris. Look at this, it's coming through underneath the pulp chamber. So one of the advantages of gentle wave is it's multi-cannular. Works in all the canals at the same time. That's a pretty cool thing. It's expensive, but cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Can I move it?
Hmm? Yeah. Sure. See, it's harder than it looks, that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We need an next Taro. Please, Kay. Please help us. Hold this. Okay, we're going to be filling in just a minute or two.
So if you were using the general wave, would you have stopped with just the traverse file, or would you still have gone with the ECX file?
I would have stopped at the traverse. Yeah. And fit an 04 cone. That's a good sign that the irrigating solutions are being suctioned through the pulp chamber, a little tiny pulp chamber. Let's see if we can put a file in there just for yucks. Have a short 15K file? Endo bender. Okay. Could I have some EDTA? I'm going to cut some dent and I don't want to make anything worse. Just better. Now, in the classic study by, I can't see, McComb and Smith in 1975, with these two irrigating solutions, EDTA and sodium hypochlorite, they showed absolutely clean root canals. Look at that. I just got some debris out of the pulp chamber. Cool. So I think I should probably put a little irrigation in there. See if I can knock some of that stuff loose. I think I just probably got the last of it out of there. Okay, good. So you can see that I'm through the little isthmus area underneath the, you could call it a soffit. I think it's been called a lot of different things. There's not as much space on the other side of it. All right, enough of that. Let's get another EDTA through there. Well, that was good. You know, I'm thinking this thing needs to soak a little bit. So let's go back to the lab for just a couple, like 15, 20 minutes. Take a little break. We're going to come back and fill these root canals. It's just about ready to go. I saw a little blood coming out of the, I think the area. Actually, I'm not sure which canal. It could have been even under the pulp chamber roof, but things are going well. We got cones fit. We're going to be good to go. Let's head out. Chris, I'm going to go back in there, so let's show her irrigating.